Brittany. Welcome back to my kitchen. So today I'm going to be making pasta bolognese. I'm going to give you some facts about Bolognese sauce. I found it pretty interesting, so I thought I would share with you. So it's called Ragu alla Bolognese. Don't make fun of my Italian, it's not great. It originated in Bologna, Italy. Sometimes it's thought to be tomato sauce, but the authentic way uses a small amount of tomato paste and mainly milk. It's a very old recipe, and the tomato was not added to it until after the tomato came to Italy. According to the Accademia Italiana della Cucina, the traditional recipe has beef, pancetta, onion, tomato paste, broth, white wine, and milk. It's traditionally served in Bologna with tagliatelle, and it's very popular in many countries today. But in many countries today, it's a term that represents using tomato and ground beef sauce, including in the United States mostly. So today I decided to make it somewhat traditional, somewhat authentic, but I'm also going to change it up a little bit. My grandma used to make it on Sundays, but she would, I guess, make the Italian-American version, which is just mainly ground beef and wine. I don't think that it had any milk in it, but I'm going to put milk in mine because it sounds really great. I'm going to be using a slow cooker. I'm going to start in a pot or a pan, and I'm going to add it to a slow cooker simply because I don't have a pot that has a heavy bottom pan. So it will probably scorch if I use a thin bottom pot. So I decided to go with the slow cooker, but if you have a heavy bottom pan, feel free to use that. Also, I'm going to be making it in 2 days. I've already started and I've already filmed that part. For the first day, I'll just tell you what I did now. I made the pestata, which is the bacon and garlic mixture, and I cooked that, and I added the mirepoix to it, which is the vegetables. And I cooked that and I sautéed it until the vegetables were cooked through. Now it's sitting in my refrigerator, and I'm about to complete the rest of the recipe. This is my own recipe, my own version of what I think that I would enjoy out of Bolognese sauce. And I'm not going to be serving it with tagliatelle, I'm going to be serving it with penne because I can't find tagliatelle here and I don't have a pasta machine. So anyway, I know I said a mouthful, and I hope you enjoy. Keep watching, give this recipe a try. And okay, here's the list of ingredients you're going to need for the Bolognese. You want some stock. This is my homemade chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock, turkey stock, chicken stock, whatever you have. Celery, carrot, onion, garlic, bacon, ground pork, ground beef, salt, pepper, milk, tomato paste, bay leaves, dry white wine, tomato sauce, nutmeg, and olive oil. Okay, let's get started. In this bowl here, all I have is one medium-sized onion, just chopped, 1 carrot diced, and I also have 1½ stalks, large stalks of celery. So I'm going to put this into the food processor, and I'm going to chop it, not so it's a paste, but just so it's shredded. So I'm probably going to do this in increments because I have so much, and my food processor is so small. So here I go. Okay, so I put about 3 tablespoons of olive oil into the pan. I'm just getting it nice and hot. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bacon and garlic mixture in here. And if you want to use pancetta instead, you can go ahead and use that. You can even try sausage. You know, this recipe is very forgiving. You know, you can really try different things. And I'm going to let this crisp up, and then I'll be back to show you what it looks like. It's been about 3 minutes, and the bacon and the garlic is nice and brown. nice and crispy. It smells unbelievable in here. And now I'm going to add the carrot, celery, onion mixture, also known as a mirepoix. And I'm going to let this saute probably for about 5 to 6 minutes, just until the vegetables are nice and wilted and golden. And I'll see you back to show you what it looks like. Okay, so my mirepoix is ready. When you were gone, I just added 1 bay leaf and some crushed red chili flakes. I haven't added any salt or pepper yet, because I'm going to do that when I add the meat. So actually, this is as far as I want to go for now, so I'm going to remove this. I'm going to put it in a bowl, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator, and then I can finish the rest tomorrow. So I'll see you back. Here I have about 2 pounds. This is 1 pound of ground pork and 1 pound of ground beef. And right here is my pestata going, and it's cooking really nicely. It smells amazing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 cup of dry white wine, and I'm going to pour it in here, and I'm going to just mix to combine. You want all the meat to break up and be coated with the wine, just absorb the wine really, really well. So I'm going to do that. So the meat mixture is ready. It's all uniform. And all I did was I pushed the vegetables to the side. So now I'm going to add the meat. Slap it right on in there. And I'm just going to try to get all the vegetables mixed in with the meat. Okay, so I got all the meat mixture browned and mixed in with the vegetables. And now what's starting to happen is all the juices are starting to release from the meat. So this is a good thing, and I have the flame on high, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook this for about 30 to 45 minutes, okay? You have to really just watch your meat, and, you know, it's different from stovetop to stovetop. So what I want is for all of these juices that are coming out of the meat, I want it to be completely evaporated, even at the bottom of the pan. So this is probably going to take about, 30 to 45 minutes, like I said. And also just stir every once in a while, like be close to the pan. Alright, so you don't want like anything to burn. So I'm just let me just show you what this looks like. You see how all the juice is coming off the meat? That's what we want. That's wine in there as well. So we want that to evaporate and really just absorb into the meat. Okay, so I'll see you back and I'll let you know how long it took. Alright. Okay, so from this point on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the meat mixture into the crock pot. I'm trying to do this as neat as possible. And of course I'm going to turn on the crock pot and get it nice and hot, so I'll be back. Alright, so the crock pot's getting heated up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3 tablespoons, roughly, of tomato paste. Trying to hold the camera and do this at the same time, so bear with me here. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. And I'm just going to give this a mix and mix it into the meat mixture. And I'm going to wait until I start to hear it sautéing a little bit. Okay, let me show you what I'm preparing here. So the meat is getting nice and hot with the tomato paste. And here I have 2 cups of milk coming to a simmer. You don't want it to come to a boil, you just want the milk to be warmed up. You don't want it to scorch or anything. And then here I have, this is 1 cup of broth, and actually what I'm going to do is, instead of doing 2 cups of broth with no tomato sauce, I'm going to do 1 cup of broth and 1 cup of tomato sauce, because I like it to be a little bit tomatoey. So I'm just going to give that a mix. And what we're going to use these as is liquid that we're going to add to the sauce so the sauce can become really complex. So the way we're going to start this is we're going to add about 2 cups, 1 cup of milk. into the meat mixture. And then you're going to cover the meat mixture and you're going to put it on high, but watch it, and you're going to wait until the liquid is almost absorbed, all right? And then when that's done, you're going to alternate, and then you're going to add a cup of this. Bring it to the meat mixture. Wait until it evaporates. Not completely, just, evaporates a little bit. You don't want the bottom to be like scorching. And then you're going to go back to this, and then by that point the milk should be finished. And then evaporate, and then you're going to go back to this and add this. All right? So normally if you were doing this on stovetop, it would probably take about 4 hours, and you definitely have to be home watching it. But since we're doing it on crock pot, it might take longer. I'm going to time it for you. I'm going to let you know how it goes. So yeah, I will see you back. I'll add the milk. You can see what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to add the milk to the pot. And I also wanted to mention, what you're looking for when you know your sauce is finished is you want the meat to be suspended, completely suspended throughout the sauce, rather than the liquid floating above the meat. If the liquid's floating above the meat, then you just want to raise your temperature, remove the lid, and you just want it to, cook until the liquid is suspended with the meat. So you're going to have a sauce. It's not just going to be like this where it's ground beef. You're going to have a sauce, but you just want your meat particles, I don't know what else to call it, sorry. You just want your meat to sort of be suspended throughout the liquid. All right, so this is all I'm going to do for now. I probably put in about 1.5 cups. So I'm going to give this a mix. And I'm also going to add probably about, a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let it cook until I want to add my next amount of liquid, and I will show you all the liquid steps that I do. So I will be back. Sorry, I forgot a step. I forgot to grate some nutmeg into it. Nutmeg goes really, really well with like cream or milk. So we're just going to add a little bit of nutmeg in here. I think it will taste really good. I'm adding probably about 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, give that a mix. It smells unbelievable in here. Just cover on, and I'll see you back. Okay, I'm going to ladle in more. I added all the milk. So now I'm adding the tomato and chicken stock mixture. And if it's too thick and there's not enough liquid, you can always use water after this as well. So the measurements aren't perfect. It's really about just seeing what the sauce looks like. Okay, I'm going to let that cook, and I'll see you back. Okay, I'd say this is about almost ready. Let me just show you. It's nice and saucy now. The meat is suspended in the liquid. There's no liquid sort of floating above the meat. So you can eat it now. You can keep cooking it and adding more sauce. I added all of the stock and tomato and all of the milk. And I also added about 1/2 cup of water. In total, it took about, I would say, 3.5 hours to cook. So I'm going to start cooking my pasta and get this plated, and I'll be back. Alright, so here's the finished product, and I'm going to give it a taste for you. It's awesome. It's really, really good. I'm probably going to let it cook for even longer. Just maybe add a little bit more tomato paste and let it go for as long as I think that the sauce will taste better and better and the flavors will concentrate. So I hope you give this recipe a try and let me know how it turns out. And until next time, bye-bye.